See that red button?
Okay.
Button?
Okay. All right.
That's it.
Okay.
Good, you're all Christmassy. Well, I thought of it,
You got Christmas here, is it?
huh?
Christmas here?
Oh, my God, I got those. I didn't feel like getting all gussy up anyway.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Joe. Where's everybody?
Still over there.
Are you the new cameraman?
She taught me how to punch the button and shut it off. I'm not really a tech person, but if I had a teacher, I can learn things little by little. I was telling Melissa back when I was in high school, I was actually a reporter for the Antrim County News. This is back around 1963 or 1964.
Really?
There was a lady named Vern Shippey, an older lady, and she'd been reported for years and years, and I was involved in school and basketball and football. So I would go to the events, make notes about what happened, do a rough draft, give it to her, she would refine it, turn it in, and pay me for it. But I thought it was kind of fun.
Oh, cool. Cool. It's your text money at work right there.
You know, I was telling you about that car auction. I ended up not going, but because they didn't have any of the vans that I was looking for.
Oh, they didn't?
Yeah, but I'm anxious to go there sometime just to see how the prices are, because I suspect, especially in the winter, I don't think they have a real big turnout over there.
We talked about that. The auction.
In Gaylord?
It's actually north of there, Alpine Auto Lot. And it's normally for dealers only, however, occasionally they have one that's open to the public. And you can go in ahead of time and you can.
Yeah, it's kind by,
It's
by
correct.
Wolverine or Vanderbilt or something like
Yes.
that?
It is.
Old 27 or something?
Correct.
Yep. I used to drive by there all the time.
It's on the left-hand side,
So-
and
Well, it depends on which way you're coming. If you're leaving Gaylord, it's not
You're
So
right.
I'll call Cheryl and.
and I stopped and looked at the cars and talked to people.
Are you looking for a conversion van?
Yes, them going to potential calls to visit my kids and grandkids.
You ever see the one Bill Chapman's got? I wonder if he's.
I did, but
I thought
the
it was
problem
part of
is, most of the ones that are for sale are like 160 or 100,000 miles. I'm not something that's just like
Well, good for
30,000 miles.
Oh,
If I get on to my kids and
I like that
grandkids,
mine, that's
I'm
it.
driving, I just wanna do it full of it.
I was gonna hang it up for you either way.
The rest of it, and then, you know, sleep for a couple hours.
Well, get here early, make sure the other one's in the garage, I can do the other one.
When I was younger, when I was in college, I worked with them in high school.
I was wondering, though. Good, good.
now you're dating yourself.
But see, they stopped, a lot of the dealers stopped carrying those from 2000 after 2008, because that's when there was a recession, and people were looking for this, you know, smaller cars, and they have cars. And occasionally I still see them visiting and driving around, but I haven't found a decent one here. But now my son's starting to look at one control, and he thinks, I might be gonna fly one down, buy one down at Ford, that doesn't have any rust issues, and stuff like that, and they're just driving around. We'll see.
Maybe look on Craigslist.
Yes, I look 2 or 3 times a day.
You gotta roll down most of the time.
And I've driven to Picasso.
Maybe look at Yahoo Motors.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good deals.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time.
right. And, you know, but I'm not gonna just buy something that it's not exactly, it's almost like I'll know it when I see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they make new ones, but they want like $75,000 for road trip cracks.
You don't want like a mini, you don't want a mini motorhome, do you?
If it was just me, I probably would, but my wife doesn't want to buy another. She and I kind of agreed on a van rather than, because I used to have that
Yep.
motorhome which I sold.
But they make them smaller than that
You're
too.
right. I mean, before that, I had a Toyota mini motorhome, I really liked
Oh,
that.
okay.
And I had that for like 15 years. It was good, and it was four-cylinder engine, but the economics on it.
Sure.
I always do
I was just, their Lions Club was having a Christmas party.
The Lions Club?
Did you really?
Well, there's Sam.
There, what, 10 minutes ago. Oh, Sam?
We were in Traverse City all that stuff.
Contracted using the new room that they just remodeled. I'm sorry, I forgot your first name.
Lisa.
Lisa?
Yes.
Yep, I'm Paul.
Well,
You
nice
have
to see
one.
you again.
I'm gonna give you a new hat
You
too.
have one hand.
Yeah, I took for $40,000, huh?
You can get one up here, you know.
I can get a couple of them.
40,000.
Friendly store.
Huh?
Oh,
That's it.
So is there anything different? Do you like it better?
100 feet down the sidewalk, road, snow blower.
The back blade does a nice job, right? You know what I mean? The back blade does a nice job. How are you?
Yeah, it puts more, you can actually, it doesn't float quite as easy. I don't think the hydraulic, you know, roll was wore out, so it floats right up. Where this one won't. Yeah, yeah.
The blower broke, 100 foot
100 foot down the sidewalk, the blower broke.
She went in there.
No, inside on the sprocket. They never tighten the bolts up. It goes down the plant side of the sprocket. Took her down the garage, hooked her up on the hoist, took it off and run it right back up. And John come out and goes, "What's the matter?" I said, "Would you believe this snow blower broke 1 minute into it?" Come around to the back. Drove the truck in the back and they fixed her in the back of the truck.
I was gonna say, they didn't try to give you our old one back.
We got a new kid up there. Everything that comes in, they have to initial who's ever worked on it on the checklist, and they never pull the panels off to check the property.
can't hear you.
Hello, Sam.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you for the papers.
You feel good?
Yeah, I feel great.
We fight all the time.
But I'm feeling too good.
Where just came from?
That means I want to slow down.
Where?
The village pub in Charleroi?
The Villager. Is it called the Villager?
Oh,
Did you get your Christmas shopping done?
I don't, it's, you know, I
think I saw that.
Oh,
One of Trevor's things. That's right.
I'm Tyler, you been on?
One time. Didn't see a thing.
Going too far, that's all I got.
I'm not even.
Since all that snow come down, remember when we got that wet heavy snow, fifth day of deer season, all my deer left. Think I couldn't get through that swamp, you know, with all the branches being down, and when it got nice enough, they never come back. I got nothing. I was deadest I've ever had it.
Mason got a beautiful big buck. He had that rack on. The guy said, he had it on, he said, he's never seen one that big in this area in years.
Mrs. Clark looks good.
But that thing weighed, that's 180 pounds. Big one.
There's no one here.
Geez, those people, I couldn't go this year. He was my backup. Hi, Judy.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling great, honey.
Good.
I'm feeling real good.
Hi, Jude.
Hi, Sam.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Always having a boy.
Funny how
How many times do you know where I am? Yeah,
really, they don't have any.
they've been trying. It's cool. I just hope they're good.
If he's looking for a dog, I could give him 18
Great.
The Lions Club is having their Christmas dinner tonight.
Whitefish. I had whitefish where I had
It's right in the corner there, you know. That's where you have those, you have those chili right there. Seriously, if you don't scarf them in like 5 minutes, you're like a little hell in the garbage, because they just get solid. Hey, how are you?
I gotta make one of these squares. Oh, she's gonna keep my pieces, no.
I said, that's a little chit chat.
Oh,
I have to boot myself out. I said, I have to boot myself out. Get out of order. So we got here, I got here, some one of them, they have remote control robots that,
Rock'em sock'em.
no, but they're remote ones now, they move all around, it goes up.
Do you remember Rock'em sock'em?
Yeah, but that was just like a vacation. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So I told Lisa we should probably get like 4 or 5 sets of these. All in all.
Oh, absolutely. I might have to go back and get them. Everybody's gotta have their own. I think it'd be cool.
I think it'd be cool, kids are fighting, get your robots out.
That's okay.
I'd be playing with them.
When my kids are fighting, they just get their own little robots out, fight with each other. And then
There you go. I have to go out of state tomorrow. My granddaughter Daisy's tomorrow. And it's my grandson's birthday.
When we got started.
And I'm not looking forward to it. Because my son and I,
are you staying down there?
till Sunday, I have to sleep on the floor. Because you know that I have to sleep.
I think Linda Gallagher will probably be here, because I saw her on the camera this morning in telecom, so she probably up there, and she'll come back or somebody up here.
What about a coach?
That would mean I'd have to sleep downstairs.
can hear, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's an irrigation sound.
Oh,
Same way. Yeah. When they want to.
You're supposed to abbreviate. And the worst thing, they test, the worst thing for me is soft-spoken women.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, my wife is, she's smarter than that. She's down the fence.
Oh, well, that's a nice place to be.
According to the USG,
It's
that's
just
what they call it.
to my son and grandkids.
It was, I was there 2 days ago, and it's,
For 40 years.
he's going down like 2 feet of rock. That's what's saying here.
Big job. Right on the corner.
Hey, Walt, how are you?
We need some more, that's why I say something's gotta break for Joe.
Clock on the walls just to save fast, so we've got about 30 seconds. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Here. We've got approval of the agenda on the December 11th meeting, the November 13th meeting. No, we need to approve the agenda. That's what we need to do. Sorry about that. Okay. Anybody care to make a motion? Any support?
okay, I'll do it, I wasn't here. Yeah.
Then moved and supported to accept the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Approval of the minutes, November 13th meeting. Care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Then moved and supported. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Need a motion to approve the November 13th public hearing minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the hearing.
Motion by Chapman, support by Thayer. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Public comment? Yes.
I just had a question regarding the TIF with the DDA. It's my understanding that the monies captured would be pulling from the school and like emergency services like the fire department. Am I incorrect in that?
Yes, I'm sure we're gonna get more involved with this discussion later, but yes, you've been misinformed.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? No. Reports, police, Scott?
Thank you. Hopefully everybody get a chance to look at the November 2014 report. Pretty average or typical month. Couple highlights down at the bottom. We're continuing to work on the USDA grant for the patrol car. As of, what was today, Thursday? As of Tuesday, we kind of hit a little hiccup in the plans there. And long story short is, back about 2004, I'm sorry, we had the downtown development project going on, and that's the last time that we've actually applied for a federal grant. As a result of that grant, we ended up with a DUNS number, which is actually a federal ID number, and that's what we need in order to continue on with our grant. I didn't realize until I got about halfway through the grant process that that DUNS number that we have is expired because we haven't used it in 10 years. So it's just a little hiccup. Larry and I already have a plan to meet tomorrow about 9 o'clock. We're going to go back in, re-update our DUNS number through the federal government, and it's just a matter of updating some current information, because obviously everything that's probably on file with the federal government is over 10 years old, so we just have to make sure that, you know, our name's on there correctly. One of the things that has to happen is there's going to be a account number for our bank account, so if the federal government actually gives us the grant, it goes right into our account. So those are some just quick housekeeping things that we need to do. So Larry and I are going to get that taken care of tomorrow. If we can't do it tomorrow through the internet, there's a 2-page form that all we have to do is fill out and throw it through the mail. So it might take a couple weeks, but hopefully next month when we have a village meeting, we'll be back on track. And there's only a couple, 2 or 3 simple things we need to do to finish up on the grant. So the other one is I wrote a grant for a camera for the new car if we do get it, including a body camera. Together, those 2 cameras are about $5,000 or so. So it'll be a nice addition if we do get the new car that will have a new camera system on it that only records from the car, but it'll also record from the officer that's wearing it. And the 2 cameras will talk to each other. It's a pretty sophisticated piece of equipment. So, so hopefully, and the grant deadline for the tribal grant is December 31st. And if you remember, that's how we got a lot of the equipment when I first started here. It's also how we got the Explorer on the tribal grant. So in the big scheme of things, it's a pretty small grant request, but it's a big project for us. So my goal is, hopefully if we get the car, we get the camera, and together that'll make it about a $42,000 package for the whole thing. And again, it only costs the village about $15,000 and some extra change. So it's be a good addition for equipment for us for a very marginal price. So that's kind of other thing, Bob is continuing to work. He worked the other day on some more ordinance violations. I think the first time we sent notices out, there were 65 notices. The second time we sent notices out, there were somewhere around 15 to 17 notices. The third time was 9. This time there was another 11 or 12 more notices that went out. So every time we're sending notices out, most of them, I'm pretty surprised that most of them come back and we get them all resolved. I think there's 3 of them that we're having some little problems with that we're gonna, we gave them just one more deadline, and then a report will probably go to the village attorney's office, and some citations may have to be issued on those 3. So, but in the big scheme of things, we're probably altogether over 80, 90 complaints that we've worked on, and if we only had to issue 3 citations, or if we only have to issue 3 citations, I think that's pretty good. So, but we're continuing to work on it, so every week we'll continue to work on more, and so it'll be kind of a work in progress.
Anybody have any questions?
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Sam, DPW?
Hopefully everybody's got a DPW operations report. The only couple things on there on the ordinary. Number 9, 26 hours of overtime for the month of November. And that's all to do with snow plowing, basically cleaning the sidewalks uptown. And number 13, it says on here, working on 2A well. At the time of the report, that well was out, but that well is up and running as of now. What happened was, when we had that real heavy snow, we had one leg of the power go out in town when the pump was running. And of course, when they boosted her back in, one of the wires in the pump house shorted out, which in turn took one of the terminals out on the panel board. And we had to order that, and Robbie got it in, I think Monday or Tuesday. So we got it up and running now. Any questions?
What was the status of the well that we were plugging?
I'm still waiting on a third bid. I got a second bid, but I haven't got the third one returned to me yet.
Clarification on that?
We have an old number 3 well up on top of Old State Street, on by the water tank, and DQ mandates that we plug it. So I'm getting, these guys approved me last month with 3 bids not to exceed, but the third bid didn't get back with me, so I gotta get ahold of somebody else for the third bid.
Anybody have any other questions for Sam? Thank you.
No water freeze up yet?
Right?
On the water main break?
We had one water line break too. I forgot about that.
Village administrator, Rachel?
I've been doing some website updates, adding the new trustees and the president, and some new things on there. I finished and filed the city, village, and township revenue sharing, county incentive program certificate of accountability and transparency. I worked on the 2015-16 budget. A couple days ago, I attended a payroll law class in Traverse City. There was several interesting things that they went over. There's 4 different categories of workers and what kind of taxes they get to file at the end of the year. And there's certain rules for deciding what categories that they fall into. They talked about W-9s and what they are and why they're important. There was some discussion on 1099s, who gets them, what things are reported. They talked about 3 types of deductions, and then I attended the DDA meeting last night.
Anybody have any questions? Corey, DDA?
We had our meeting actually last night. It was postponed from, it was originally scheduled for Wednesday, December 3rd, postponed to December 10th, which was yesterday. Right away, there was discussion of the accuracy of the minutes. We determined as a board the minutes were accurate as written. We discussed window night. Kelly Young resigned. We voted to accept her resignation. Chris Corbett wasn't present. He invoiced us for the skating rink. He donated half the cost of the skating rink, which I don't have that right in front of me, but was about $10,500 for the skating rink, the Zamboni, and some hockey equipment and everything for that area. So he donated half of it, and the DDA would like to pay the rest out of our budget that we have. I did not have time to get it to Rachel, but we would like to ask the council to amend our DDA budget, if that's possible. We spent less than $3,000 of the $8,000 that we were budgeted for this year, and so we've got the funds to go ahead and pay Chris the $5,250. Voted to ask the council to amend the DDA budget. Let's see. There was some discussion about some changes that Corbett suggested that he'd like to see made to the plan, and I think we'll investigate that a little bit further and take that through the course of our meetings. There was some discussion about the budget, and we formed a committee made up of myself, Tom Kenyon, who's vice chair, Brian Reese, the secretary, and I've asked Nancy and Larry maybe to have some input on it so we can have everything we need. So that is what we did.
Any questions? Could you explain to the audience what that TIF plan will entail, where the monies are coming from and not coming from?
Yeah, there's no money being taken away from anything. It's just, and it doesn't refer to school millages at all. It has nothing at all to do with the school. And what it has to do with is, as property values increase over time, we can capture a percentage of that increase. And so it's when we make the properties downtown worth more money, that should help increase our budget. And so if property values go down, we don't get anything. And if property values go up over, I think it's over 5%, that's the cap. So when we put a projection together of the next 30 years, we kind of hit in the middle road between 1% and 5%, that was 3. So it there's no money being taken away from it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Committee reports, correspondence, I don't have any correspondence, do you?
There was a letter that I gave everybody.
Yeah. Okay.
It was sitting out on the desk.
Yeah, I see it now, sorry. I read it before, so, back up to correspondence. It says to whom it may concern. First, I want to thank the village of Central Lake for blowing the sidewalks on Main Street. I see many people walking by heading to town and returning later with their arms holding sacks and items that they have bought. I personally walk up when the weather permits, but I like to pull a cart for groceries. Last year, I had to give that up because I was constantly getting the cart stuck in the snow by the curbs, which meant walk on the roads or drive. I noticed during the summer, someone pushing a wheelchair. I noticed 2 or 3 others, besides a gentleman who lives here in the house in a wheelchair. My mom, who lives here, uses a walker. I imagine you notice wheelchairs more when you're around them more. Same with canes, walkers, etc. We invited a friend over one day and she stayed for dinner. I found out that leaving for home in her power wheelchair that she had gotten stuck twice. Luckily, somebody was out and stopped and noticed her lights and helped her get free. She said she has a lot of problems getting out unless she is on the roads. The sidewalks are great, but at the end of each sidewalk, where the curb dips down for the handicap, it is always full of snow. It seems that plows almost always come through the side streets and plow the snow up, covering those curbs, making it impossible for the wheelchairs and often people with any kind of disability or balance issues to get through safely. During the winter season, people who must walk or need to get out of the are limited with the snow. Walking on the roads is dangerous, and because I now am surrounded with people who use items with wheels, realize that the handicapped area of the curbs on Main Street, until you get into town proper, where all is neatly cleaned, is a problem in itself. I am hoping for all of the safety for those villagers who use the sidewalks, that a solution can be found. I think what she's asking for is the approaches to the curbs where there are handicap accesses all the way down Main Street to be shoveled up. Obviously, it's being done very well downtown, she says, and we'll look into it. Sam?
Well, I'm gonna go back to what I said last time. I'm in a bad spot when it comes to outlying sidewalks on M88, because I don't take care of M88, county does. County leaves with trucks going that way in the morning, they leave with trucks going that way in the morning. Until them trucks run out of all that salt sand, that south lane of M88 doesn't get plowed. It might be 11 o'clock before that county truck comes back through. And now I got somebody walking down the sidewalks complaining because I haven't cleaned the sidewalks yet. Do I go through and clean them and then let the county throw it all back into them and then go back to and clean the second time? That's where this, just exactly, that's what's happening right here. Because when we go in, I go in at 3 o'clock in the morning, I plow 88 from my shop down to the therapy shop. So the county doesn't come through town and throw all that snow back up on the sidewalk. That's why them curbs are clean. Because then the county picks their blade up and just goes through.
So, would it be worth saying maybe we come down 2 more blocks? Because that's the end of the sidewalks anyways.
Anything? Yeah. But now, well, we got sidewalks going that way too. You got sidewalks headed out to the north end of town.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the Main Street here.
It's a no-win situation for us. We do our darndest to keep it out of there, and, you know, and then my plow road's laid out different, because all snow goes up right inside the trucks. So we have to wait and do the sidewalks coming down. If the county was to get out and get M88 plowed by 7 o'clock in the morning, I still can't do the sidewalks going down this way, or this way, because my plow road's laid out for right-hand turns. So it might be 10 o'clock before you get in this neighborhood. Because all the snow goes off the right hand side of the truck. You know, all I can say is we'll do our best to try to keep it out of it. And hopefully it works for them.
New sidewalk plow, snow blower should help some.
Yeah, but,
Yeah, timing is still.
right, timing is the issue, yeah. And new tractor's wonderful, so.
Any other correspondence? I don't think I have one. I'll discuss here, we have other correspondence, but it'll show up later. Committee reports, Rob, street sidewalks and lights.
Well, the sidewalk issue, this is first I've known of this. I'll contact her or try to make contact with this individual and explain it. I'll sit down with Sam. He can explain it again to me so I can convey the situation to her. So, that's that. To bring some people up to speed here, in August, we had an individual come and look at resurfacing our tennis courts. And we went on with the basketball courts. Came to a total of $21,470. We've been mulling it over now for quite a while. Are we gonna pursue a grant on that or not? Melissa, you had stated at the October meeting that it might be possible for a tribal grant. I don't know anything about tribal grants, so that if you were willing to, you know, kind of walk me through it, and I'd be more than grateful. Do we want to pursue a trust fund grant at this time? So, we do want to pursue a trust fund grant. I talked to Christy Bayes several times in November. She's got workshop meetings. Someone should go to this, several. I put the dates out for everybody. And what these dates are, they're just workshops to better write your grant, so that way you have a better chance of getting the grant accepted and getting the money requested. We've already got one grant in the hopper, and obviously, well, there's new people here, excuse me. She did state that we can pursue two grants concurrently, as long as she's been kept up to speed. Her and I have been back and forth communicating via email and phone calls quite a bit. So I guess at this time, do we want to move forward in pursuing these grants on the tennis courts? The grant cycle, we have to have it in by March 1st. This grant looks very, very doable, just because it's not nearly as complex as the second one, and it's not nearly as much money. And that's where we're at.
Does this schedule all the same meetings, just
It's the
different
same
locations?
So, yeah.
Okay. So if you can't make one, get another.
The one I looked at, that I saw that was closest to us was in Roscommon, at the bottom, second one from the bottom, January 22nd. So, but that's even if we want to pursue it. I mean, we can, that's,
I think having somebody go to these and, you know, get the information and the know-how from it is a great thing for us. I would suggest that it would be a great one for our administrator to do, but in some of the paperwork here right now, I don't know if that would be a good thing or not, so. But I think somebody should go. When it comes to your tribal grant stuff, and I'll, not only Melissa what I think, but Scott obviously has experience since this is his second or third one.
thank you. That's it.
Any other questions? Sewer and water, Melissa?
16 covered.
Sam covered it really well.
There we go.
That does a good, he does a
I'd have
good
told you if I'd known it.
Bill, law enforcement?
It was a quiet month for the department. Additional time was spent on traffic patrol this month. And new patrol logs were made up, and monitoring problem traffic areas in the town as noted by the people of the town. So this is a sample of the traffic log that's made up, so we can keep better track of where the problems are and And in the problematic areas that are identified, you can actually take a reading of what is going on there. And I've seen Scott spending quite a lot of time in a couple of different areas that have been noted as, you know, problem areas in the town. And I recognize that he's made quite a few stops in those areas too. So it's kind of a early warning system for people to pay attention to what they're doing. He's pretty lenient about giving tickets. He'll give a lot of warning, a lot of leeway, you know, if it's not too excessive. So I don't think you're gonna hear anybody saying that he's overly jealous in his ticket issue, because he really isn't. Makes a lot more stops than he writes tickets. And that's all I got.
Do you have any questions? Rod, communication?
Just a few things here. First off, as Sam was touching on the snow, we want to remind everybody that you can get everything back from the street 8 feet, whether it's your garbage cans or most of your basketball hoops should be gone, but to enable the DPW to remove the snow from the streets without damaging any private property. Also, please have all the vehicles off the streets in the early morning hours, basically downtown, mostly downtown, to enable the DPW to clean on Main Street, as was touched on earlier. The new office hours effective December 8th are Monday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays will be opening from 3:30 to 6 p.m. and Friday will be from 8 a.m. to 12. Village office will be closed for the Christmas holiday from December 24th, reopening on December 29th. And I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Thank you. Joe, financial personnel?
Yeah, pretty much all I've got has been looking at the budget a little bit here, trying to get started with that and see where we're at. I talked with Rachel a little bit about it. That's all I've got for the month right now with this particular subject.
Okay. Leila, Parks, and Public Property?
Well, since nothing's going right now except for the grants, and Lyle Collins called me the other day, and he's anxious to get back up here this next spring, so he will be coming in before it's time for him, at least to sit in on the meeting. Otherwise, why? We aren't doing a darn thing.
Okay, President's report. It almost feels like I never left, but I did, so. And since November 20th, which is the first day that I inherited this position, I have met with both village attorneys, Mr. Wendling, regarding the issue concerning the property on the north end of Intermediate Lake. I have spoke with Mr. Graham and asked for his review of the clerk treasurer job description and the village administrator job description. More on that later. I spent an hour with Mr. Walt Bedell regarding the issue concerning the property on the north end of Intermediate Lake. I have reviewed the budget. I have met with the assessor, Jim Keller, to get his opinion as to the monies we can expect for next year. I attended the monthly DDA meeting, which was last night. I have spent time with Rachel, primarily asking questions to get a handle on where things stand regarding the business of the village and her job and responsibilities. I spent a half hour with Sam riding around the village to get brought up to speed with the DPW operations. I have spent a half hour with Scott discussing with him the issues that he is facing in his job. I met Bob Burnett. I spent close to an hour over lunch with Melissa Zelenak at her request. We each bought our own lunch in case anyone would like to know. So, I spent nearly an hour talking with Joe Bodley. I have spent time investigating what kind of increase we can anticipate in insurance rates next year. I've had a couple of short sessions with Bill Chapman to discuss what has gone on in the past and his opinion on how things are going in the village. I asked if he would remain president pro tem, and he said yes. I apologized to Leila, Rob, and Rod. I had good intentions to meet with everybody before this, but I couldn't make it work. Hopefully before the next meeting I'll get to you guys. So I think I've been fairly busy trying to get caught up with everything, and I'm sure it's going to take more time to get it an even better handle on that. Through my effort to get caught up, some of the concerns that I heard prior to taking over this job were the clerk treasurer village administrator position. So I asked Brian Graham, who's our village attorney, to review that, and he responded according to the letter that you all have received. This in no way reflects on Rachel. I have found her to be very professional, very competent in what she is doing. But it is a concept of administering village's business that I think is at question. And I think it requires the council to reassess that and reevaluate and see what we can do to come to some kind of understanding that will better serve the village at this point in time. Philosophically, a village manager or administrator is probably a good idea. But I also think that it's a better idea for communities much larger than we are. And I think the general village law is set up for us to keep the president as the chief executive officer rather than someone else. In reading her job descriptions, which they are online and that's where I read them from, I said, boy, we're looking for somebody to walk on water. I don't think that's what we want her to do. I think personally that no one person can do what was being asked of her. I understand that the hope was for her to grow into that. Which she may or may not do in the future. But I think personally that we need to reevaluate the concept, that's all. This is not a personal attack on her or what she has done. It's a philosophical approach to the job, our job. If we were to do a village administrator or village manager, it would probably eliminate the purposes of the committees that are set up and put the onus on all that we do into that position. And I don't think that's fair. I think that we need a deputy clerk treasurer that she would have authority over to train, so if something happens to her, we have backup. If she wants a vacation, which she certainly deserves, then we'd have somebody to fill in. So it's an organizational request from me to the council to look at the situation. Any questions?
I've got a couple. What did you find? You said you were looking at the insurance increases. What did we find we can expect out of that?
I found about a 20% increase would not be unreasonable.
20% suspected. And I'd have a question. You said you had a meeting as president with Walt Bedell concerning the case that is in our lawyer's hands right now, or is a court case now. Did you do that under the direction of the attorneys or with anybody, other counsel's consent?
No. I don't think I needed anybody else's consent.
My opinion is I think it's a bad thing that since that's already in a court case or any in the court system, that we've all been a very active council here, and I think we all would like to stay that way and be informed of things that are happening and going on, especially when it comes to the
And
grant
I
process.
am informing, but I'm not gonna have to check with somebody to talk to somebody else in the community.
I just, again, I say, I like to be informed myself of what's going on, so.
Yeah, well, you're getting informed, I told you tonight what I did. Not right now, you'll have a chance.
I mean, as a personal thing, if you want to do that, it's fine, and don't get me wrong, I'm just saying, I think in this particular situation, it would have been wise, or should have been wise to have the attorneys present and or their advice to do this.
I have been in touch with them all along the way.
Okay, I'm just asking, you know, I don't,
Larry, where are we at on it then?
According to my conversation with the attorney at 4:30 tonight, he will be submitting paperwork to claim a quiet title, and Walt will be receiving a letter to that effect. And that's where it stands right now.
Thank you.
So we are seeking a quiet title. But I'm telling you, and you would get a letter for this. I'm not looking to get into a fight, but that's our position as a council from my attorney's advice.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
When is this going to occur?
he said tomorrow.
the question I'd have then, the letter that you presented us from Brian, do you plan on, going into that later on here, or, well, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what.
I planned on doing it when we got down a little farther.
Okay. Yeah,
So this is just to inform us right now.
Right now, yes. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. That's my report. Approval of the bills. Need a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make that motion. Pay the bills, $48,602.58.
Any support?
Support.
Support by Bodley. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We do a roll call on this?
No, when you're spending money, we have to do a roll call.
Okay. Roll call then.
Bowden,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Thayer,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yep.
Almond.
Yep.
Parker.
New business, present the preliminary budget. You have received a copy of that in your package. I reviewed it over this past weekend to try to get some handle on it for my own good. Rachel had put this together and plugged the numbers in. And my feeling is that, from my perspective anyway, the issues that I think I would like the council to address, I can find my paper here. We have street paving, sidewalk replacement, streetscape care, update to water system, DDA, and personnel compensation. Those are the areas that I've designated in my mind that I'm going to spend the most time on and trying to budget for projects that are within those things. Obviously, we have other issues, but those are my priorities. I'm asking the council to take this back, and come January, we can have a sit-down discussion and hash this budget out, so by February, we can approve it.
Can you say it again slow?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, some street paving, I think that's required.
All right,
Some sidewalks that I think need to be replaced or put in, put
Alright.
back. Streetscape care, that's essentially someone to take care of the landscaping within our downtown district.
all right.
Are you talking like the common area caretaker that we originally did and then moved into the DDA?
Correct.
Okay.
And it's of my opinion that I think we can do a better job by allocating the funds from here and managing it from here than having the DDA do it. But whether we decide to go that way, that's up to you guys. But that's my personal preference. There are some areas where the water system could be updated, according to what I found out. The DDA will present a budget that they would like to see for our review. And personnel compensation essentially is do we allocate for a raise or not? That's
Got
what
a
I-
COLA?
huh?
Make your cost of living, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Six then?
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I'm gonna concentrate on. So
Okay.
whatever you guys wanna concentrate on,
I guess
we'll bring it back.
in concentrating on these and looking at them, I'm real curious that, again, the direction that you're looking at going, is we've got 20-year plans for the street pavings already that show 20-year projection in our street projects and a very healthy fund balance for 20 years out. The sidewalk replacement we've talked about, and how do we determine that? I think it's a great subject. I think we really need to work on that, but where is a sidewalk most important? You know, is it going west past school to replace some there? Is it down Bell Street because there's kids there? Is it over on Elm Street? Who knows? I don't know, and I think a lot of public input needs to be put into that and to build that into a 20-year plan as we have in the past, or with these other things. So I'm not, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to skirt it or anything, but I think that requires a lot of public input and scrutiny on where do they go. I mean, that's my opinion there.
And from my opinion, it's who's ever in charge of street sidewalks and lights.
Yep, 2 out of the 6 are me, yeah.
Correct. And so, don't get me wrong, and I do believe we need to work on that. That's it. The streetscape care, we did the common area caretaker before, it was moved into the DDA. I'm not necessarily sure I agree that they didn't do a great job. Could things be better? Sure. They're still up and coming and learning, and I think this gives them a great benefit to slowly build and bring themselves up. Like I say, they're new, they're still trying to get their legs under them, and I think it's great that it gives them some personability of our downtown area. So I personally, I would like to see them keep that. The same with the water system update. Have we looked at the water and sewer rate study? Which all the updates, anything to have to do with the water rate, all the plans are in that. Same with the sewer. They're 20-year plans. Actually, I believe the water and sewer rate will project us out 30 years of any plans for replacement that are there. The DDA budget, obviously, that's something that needs to be worked on. I believe when we initially allocated or set aside $20,000 for them, we told them it'd be pretty hard for them to get anything more. So I think that, just coming back with a budget that was within that, would answer their question there. Employee compensation, I love that, and I strongly believe that paying our employees and giving them a cost of living raise on an annual basis is good for them. It keeps them happy, and happy employees are good employees.